Moist Critical had a video that went viral 4 years ago called Angriest Common Thread on YouTube. And it was a super long argument that had a bunch of different twists and turns. But what if I told you I found an even more dramatic argument? And this is the longest argument in YouTube history. It all started on this video. Tracy McGrady scores 13 points in 33 seconds. So basically, T Mac was an NBA player who scored 13 points in 33 seconds to win a game, and it is regarded as one of the greatest moments in NBA history. So a lot of people were leaving comments about it, and it all starts with this initial comment from somebody named Seven Sonics. 9 years ago, and yes, this argument lasted 9 years, they commented, "Imagine if Parker's shot went in, would have killed the hype so hard." They're referring to this shot from rival player Tony Parker, right over here. If that shot had went in, even though T-Mac scored 13 points, they would have still lost the game. So this person was just pointing out, imagine if that shot went in, it would have really killed the moment, right? Here comes the villain of this story. This is like the Frieza of YouTube comments, the most despicable villain you can think of. But it's somebody named InEffect. They had a pretty pessimistic reaction to Seven Sonics where they said, but it didn't. That's why you're watching this video. Seriously, what kind of thinking is that? Imagine if Jordan was a scrub and the Bulls never won all those titles. Imagine if Islamic extremists liked America never crashed their planes into the World Trade Center. What the actual hell kind of comparison is that? But anyways, they said, imagine if, well, you get the point. It's pointless to think like that. So we've got Mr. You Must Be Fun at Parties right over here. They basically hit Seven Sonics with the whole if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle analogy. And so Seven Sonics replies and says, what kind of thinking is that? Why don't you just ask why the word imagine exists then? It's human nature to imagine. Get over it. And they said, get over what? What exactly is there to get over? And this person, who's still remaining pretty calm, said, your previous comment gave me the impression that you were awfully sensitive to what I said. So that's what you need to get over. Here we have one of the heroes of the story right over here. Damn, if you're so against curiosity and imagination, why are you even commenting on YouTube? Are you really that butthurt that he brought up a valid point? Like shit, if Parker did make it, it would have killed the buzz in the stadium. It's a solid observation. So this argument actually takes a break for 5 years where InEffect doesn't post anything. And somebody said, rip InEffect 69, 2016 to 2020 will not be remembered. So obviously people start roasting this InEffect guy because he was being really pessimistic for no reason. And InEffect, like the freaking Shredder, makes his return and says, it's easy to entertain the simple-minded, but I enjoy doing it, so it is my pleasure. That was in response to someone saying they hope this argument will continue. This comment sums it up right here. 5 years later and these guys are still fighting. Welcome to the internet. You might want to change that to 9 years though, because this is not going to be over yet. Then 3 years ago, InEffect comes back to all the people who were criticizing him and says, look at all these keyboard warriors getting their panties in a bunch because of a stranger on the internet. LOL. This has been fun, princesses. Next time I suggest you just ignore some comments and move on rather than get in such a huff you want to throw your toys out of the cot. Hilarious. This statement is so ironic that it could cure everybody who has anemia. You're saying that people should just ignore what you said and move on rather than just get in such a huff. But that's exactly what you did to start this comment thread off to begin with. You know, you were mad that they were imagining something, so you got in such a huff and wrote a big comment where you compared it to Islamic extremists liking America. How does he not understand the irony of this statement? And he actually starts biting back at a few people and says, why doesn't it surprise me that the limit of your reading ability is 5 words? Keep getting angry at a 5-year-old comment, lol. This was like the mic drop right here. Ah, yes, the famous InEffect 69 remembered for being unable to admit that he was being sensitive and created a 5-year unnecessary argument when he could have just owned up to it and move on with his life. I think this is the world's longest argument. You could make an argument. This has been a 9-year argument, and I think it's actually going to keep going even after I make this video. Somebody says, you good, bro? Why you getting so mad for nothing, man? And then he said, I ain't the one replying to a 6-year-old comment. Let it go, bro. Somehow it seems 7 years wasn't enough for you to change, though. That's sad. I've actually used this comment in a thumbnail before because I actually did talk about this comment thread like 2 years ago, but I didn't expect it to keep going. And then we actually got a supporter of InEffect over here. Evan says, I know, right? These people keep going after you and think you won't respond. Shake my head. And InEffect said, yeah, well, they're sorely mistaken. I thought you told everybody to let it go because it's an old comment thread, but all right. So it's kind of like one guy getting dogpiled, and then people keep kind of like trying to revive this to see how long it'll go on for. And I'm curious too, because this person said, rip InEffect 69, the man who rose from the grave just to dig himself back in. He won't be missed. And then InEffect makes his return again. This guy's returned more than the Shredder, more than Frieza. He says, gotta love how every kid that gets his dumb comment obliterated comes back with, yeah, just baiting you, bro. Lol. obliterated is crazy, but all right. So somebody says baited Lamau again, and he said, "Yeah, okay, kid, you had your fun now. Go play in some traffic." Sheesh. Seems like he's getting a little bit upset that this guy keeps saying baited. And then he kind of takes a different avenue here. He starts criticizing one of the basketball players in the video. Ethan said, "And it was a bad comment. Just own it. We all post bad comments." No, it wasn't. And you are all defending a guy in Tony Parker who's off court shenanigans rival Kyrie Irving. Think about whose side you're choosing here. He's an abhorrent human being. If you want to choose his side, that puts you in the same category along with every other Muppet here who has responded. This makes absolutely no sense. How the hell are they defending Tony Parker? The thread started with them defending this guy, Seven Sonics, who I'm pretty sure is not Tony Parker, and then it started turning into them just making fun of you because you just wouldn't let go of this 9-year argument. I can't believe he tried to turn this whole thread into people defending Tony Parker. That's like insane. Somebody even said, "Bro, I'm in awe of your dedication." Bro, you've been at it for 7 years. Move the heck on, bro. And this is the part that excites me. Indefect said, "And I'll be at it another 7. Keep coming at me. I'm here for it." And then somebody gets a little cameo appearance here. I'm actually involved in this story. Deep Humor did it. He made a video about it. Because somebody had apparently said that somebody should make a video about this comment thread. Speaking of Deep Humor, who came here from Deep Humor? Shout out to this guy right over here. Somebody asked him, "Is your boss not paying you enough?" And if it gets philosophical here and says nobody's boss pays them enough. This has become history, and I'm very thankful to now be a minor side character in it. Can somebody please link to the video about this thread? I wonder what video he's talking about. You are one crazy man. 7 years of arguing. Respect. Correction. 7 years of being interrupted by YouTube notifications telling me somebody else wants to continue a 7-year argument. Well, you could just, turn off the notifications for it, and you could just not reply. People were even talking about the Moist Critical video that I referenced earlier. The Mario Paper argument may have had a longer thread, but it didn't last nearly this long. Yeah, this argument is going to go down in history. Longest internet argument of all time. I find it funny that InEffect still is going at people over all these years. People are sheep. They can't handle somebody with a different opinion than themselves, so they freak out, which is exactly what every person in this thread has been doing. Funnily enough, you were the one who freaked out when somebody else had an opinion that you didn't agree with, but all right. I've explained why I respond to intellectually challenged individuals such as yourself. Go back and read the comments. I'm not going to repeat myself for the 50th time. I mean, it might be tough to go back and read the comments. This is 9 years in the making, buddy. It's so funny. He's still like going at people, insulting them, correcting their grammar. This guy is one of the most persistent people in the world. Bro, why do you even care? Move on to something else if it bothers you. This is something that someone should have said to you when you made your first reply 9 years ago. I find it funny when somebody like makes a valid point against him. All he does is try to like correct their grammar or spelling. And then the hero even makes a return. 3 months ago, somebody said, "Please just delete this comment. You're doing this world a favor and yourself," referring to Seven Sonics, the person who left the original comment that started this. And he said, "Nah, the legend must live on." Based. I love that. I mean, they should just keep this going forever, man. InEffect made an appearance a month ago and said, "I'm not seeing much idolizing from my end," referring to someone saying crazy how people idolize you as a hero or something just because you made an old comment. The last known sighting of InEffect was 13 days ago, saying that you are obviously a kid making fun of somebody's English. So yeah, this argument is still alive and well. It's only a matter of time before this continues again. Welcome to the longest and most dramatic comment thread in the history of YouTube. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.